One, two.
Hey guys, welcome to I believe this is episode 9.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah,
Yeah.
9. We'll go with it. I'll tell you one thing, it'll be a lot better than the last episode 9 you saw in the theaters. Anyways, I am the voice of reason, Kevin Pillow, and JR is over here saying, "Bro, did you just say that?"
He's not wrong. He's not
Not
wrong.
wrong.
He's
But
not
it's better
wrong.
than episode 8. By the way, this is episode 9 of PS Comics I Love You, the official podcast of pop culture podcast of us, because that's what makes it official.
We want to say Palm Springs. We want to say here, but at the same time, they haven't paid us. They haven't paid for us that yet. So
yeah, and you know what?
Hoping.
Everyone across the world has been enjoying this so far. Thank you, everyone who's subscribed, liked, commented, everything. We'll get to the Q&A portion that we promised you last week. This is going to be Wrath of the Con Part 2, where we kind of give a overview of what we think of cons, pro tips, and kind of some how-tos on your best con experience.
Convention going.
Today technically would be the last, I think it's either the last day or the second to last day to SDCC. Yeah, SDCC at home, which is the online social distancing, quarantine, coronavirus version of San Diego Comic-Con. It has been a roaring success, all things considered. I will also get into the rants of the merchandising side that probably hasn't been as successful as the in-person version. But again, I am Kevin Pillow, the voice of reason, at voice of reason 23. He is JR
Kabakungan. Yep, also known as the Dark King. You can find me at also not JR Comics 42 on Instagram. Still working on my other stuff, guys, but as you can tell, we've been kind of pretty busy the last couple weeks, man, with everything involved. But again, just to kind of kick it off, is it cool? Can I kick it off?
Well, actually, can I throw one in here that I don't think ended up in the rundown? We're recording this on a Saturday. Yep. By the way, as you can tell in my background, it's Pokemon Go Fest for me. So if you hear some buzzing in the background, it's
him.
Go Plus going off as they catch Pokemon. Just before we went on recording, got some unfortunate news. Did not tell JR about this, but I think JR knows where I'm going with this.
Yeah,
Rick
I know this.
Feldman passes away at the age of 88, and he is hands down top 10 pop culture figures of all time. Dude was on Who Wants to Win a it's a show again.
Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Of course, Regis and Kathy Lee for years. He has that unmistakable New York sound to him when he would talk and get all crazy high pitched. Also, guy was a huge pop culture fan in himself, and you could tell by the guests he used to have on his old talk show. And I was a huge wrestling fan, for those who didn't know, growing up in the New York market. But a pioneer and an icon in pop culture. Maybe not the level. No, we're not talking Stan Lee pop culture, but we're talking just overarching pop culture. The guy was huge.
Yeah,
so,
definitely a big name. Definitely one of the greats, man. When it comes to television, when it comes to reality TV shows, not reality TV shows, but more so like just talk shows and all that. But yeah, saw the news of him today. Passed away at the ripe old age of 88, man. So his birthday was a couple months from now, actually. So, but yeah, lived a full life, man. And hey, big ups to Regis right there, man.
By the way, too, not that we probably had anything to do with it, but want to send a big shout out to the comic book community out there. Comic-Con had some say in it too. They paid homage as the great. If you've ever seen Cop Out, the great Tracy Morgan would say, paying homage. John Lewis, the late great pioneer, civil rights leader and senator or congressman, who passed away last week or the week before. Had, of course, the graphic novel March 3-part series available on Comixology. Things shot way up. I mean, just huge numbers.
Good.
Hey, everyone, thank you so much, because, maybe I don't know what the rights fees are for the creators, but I think that Comixology, which is owned by Amazon, has said that they were going to donate a vast majority of the money made from that point on March I believe he's got some kind of foundation or like I think it's a school for underprivileged kids. He's got a charity set up in his
Yeah.
name, and so I think Amazon came out and said that they were going to donate all the proceeds that were brought in from March to his charity or foundation, whatever. So big ups to Amazon. So
can I add just a small little rant, just a small one?
go.
Is Jeff Bezos going to give away his any of his $16 million he made in one day? Is he going to give anything away from that too, or no?
And you know what I'm saying now? He probably will, because if you made as much money as Jeff Bezos made in 2020, come the end of the year, right before tax time, he's going to make a big old donation, and it's not going to be to his ex-wife.
Yeah.
Anyways, he already gave that donation up a couple years ago.
Oh,
made her the richest woman on the planet.
Dude, that's crazy, man. Like, yo, okay, small rant. I know it's side. Give me like 2 seconds. When you make $15 million in one day during the pandemic, come on now, you're marketing off something. Come on, man. Give back, bro. Give back. What are you doing?
And say what you want, because this is coming from a guy who worked in brick and mortar retail. Yeah, he's hit us hard. But if anything, too, I'll hand it to companies like Best Buy and Target, who have finally stepped up and said, you know what? Why fight them, or why kowtow to them, or try to I don't know. It's kind of one of those deals like, why fight against them when you can fight against them? If that makes any sense, is like, having worked in brick and mortar for so long, it would try to, Best Buy and companies like that would try to fight against Amazon and just so hard say, we're better. And they would lose sales. They would absolutely lose sales to Amazon because they're like, we're better. And people go like, screw you, I'm going to go over to Amazon, order it for $1,000 cheaper. And now they're starting to go like, you know what? Why fight against them when you can fight with them? And what they're doing is they're like, oh, you want to price match the same exact computer on Amazon as we got here in the store to get your sale? We will do it. So there you go. I will tack on to the fight. I'm a huge fan of commerce, but Bezos, when it comes to the end of 2020, you know what to do with that extra $1 billion you got in your pocket. Donate it, bro.
You better. But yeah, guys, cool. Shall we get into the quick Comic-Con news?
Yes. Why don't we get into what we will do a full wrap up of SDCC, because there are still plenty to come as we are speaking, and it'll come out tomorrow, maybe.
Yeah.
I know that we've got a couple other things that are on the horizon. We have Warner Brothers doing their big thing, but that's not till next month. But let's get into the news and notes of what we have heard so far.
Yeah, again, guys, there is still a lot of stuff coming out because of how conventions are still being closed this year, and so we have a lot of stuff just trickling in. Yeah. We've had DC event is still next up in grabs. Marvel's gonna have their own event again. Just to tell you recap on that. And so the bigger news is that Comic-Con San Diego is happening right now. There has been some stuff out, just a couple of things I've wrote on. I guess for me, or even just for in comics in general, or comic spin-offs or whatever. The Walking Dead season finale is finally going to premiere Sunday, October 4th this year. The season finale, which was supposed to air February, sometime in the last 2-3 months or so. They're finally giving an air date of October 4th, 2020. But then for some weird reason, because I watched a little bit of the panel, a couple of extra episodes will come in 2021. So
interesting about that.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like oh, we got closed down because of the pandemic, but at the same time, let's make some more episodes. I'm like, okay, whatever.
Hey.
But hey, I saw some stuff on that, man. We have Maggie Ree finally coming back. Laura Cohen finally coming back, knowing that her other outings in Whiskey Tango Foxtrot isn't really doing that great, so she came back a little bit. I got love for her though, man. I loved her since Supernatural. But she's finally back in the mix. And there's also a spinoff for the Walking Dead series.
Another one?
Yeah, man. It's actually called Walking Dead World Beyond. Premieres on the same day, October 4th, but at 10 p.m. So you also have Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead, right? Appearing, I think, the same day as well, but that show's earlier. And then you have Walking Dead season 10 premiere finale. And then you have Walking Dead World Beyond. World Beyond is actually, to me, I watched some of this stuff. It very much, even though just looking at it, just from a glance point, it very much feels like like young adult themed.
Yeah.
I'm like, but set in zombie apocalypse. Because a lot of a lot of characters are younger kids who are going to be adults. And I initially wanted this. My initial thought, like, oh man, another freaking kids, Archie esque or Sabrina the Teenage Witch esque type of thing. That same vein, right? But like
Yeah.
the more I look into it, like, wait, no, that's not the universe. The universe of Walking Dead is very much, very visceral, very real esque, surreal esque type of world with zombies in it, or walkers or undead, whoever it is in it. And so they're going cross country. The showrunner of it, Matt Negrete, actually, or I can't say his last name. I'm gonna like butcher it, but Matt said he likens it to like Stand by Me, the old
Great.
movie,
Great flick.
great movie, where he wants it to kind of be that um that basically coming of age story for kids, and they grow up and finally think, oh, this is the world, even though this world is a zombie apocalypse. And so that's gonna be cool. I mean, there's gonna be adults in there too. There's gonna be other characters within that world. It's supposed to be only a 2-season event type of thing, so they're probably gonna tie that in with the current Walking Dead storyline. For those who don't know the Walking Dead, what's going on right now in the Walking Dead series, right? The AMC series. Uh, Spoiler alert: Rick's gone for now. For now.
Because didn't he announce that at last year's San Diego Comic-Con, right?
Yeah, but he's supposed to do 2 movies with
Oh,
AMC.
okay.
Yeah, so he's doing 2 movies right now, and the current and the Walking Dead World Beyond is supposed to be set 10 years after
Gotcha.
the events of current Walking Dead right now. And so we might see older daughter, forgot her name, the daughter of the adopted or possible daughter of Andrew Lincoln's, or not
Oh,
Andrew
okay.
Lincoln characters. And so I'm just forgetting their names now. What the heck? I just literally just said his name. Main character.
Rick?
Rick, right? Yeah, the Rick's daughter, right?
Yeah.
And so she'll probably be grown up, and if anything, the Walking Dead spin-off series is gonna be integrated into the Walking Dead series again. The same way how Fear the Walking Dead is now too. And
I was like, did
so
it finally kind of cross over? I mean,
yeah,
I'll throw myself under the bus. I mean, I'm not as uh, hooked on The Walking Dead as the next person. I mean, it's one of those deals like I don't dislike it, but
it's a
I'll
slow
support it.
burn. Yeah, it's definitely the TV show is definitely a slow burn, specifically the first like 6 seasons or so.
Yeah.
But yeah, there has finally been a crossover event with Fear the Walking Dead and Walking Dead, but just only like 1 or 2 characters per se. I'm still waiting for the inevitable tie-in when all these 3 universes will collide into one finally, eventually. And
Oh
so,
yeah.
but overall, the way it looks now, I'm liking it, because you're telling, basically you're in the same world but telling different stories. So that's cool. That's fine. I'm cool with that. I'm all for world building. I'm all for fleshing out, your world space. So I'm cool with that. But yeah, this definitely looks like it's gonna tie in some of the newer crowd, the younger crowds and stuff. And so you're gonna have, because they're gonna inevitably pass the mantle on to main character, to the daughter, which I'm just finding her name right now real quick. But go ahead, continue. Just find her name real quick.
Okay, we got here. Oh my goodness. Well, as you're kind of putting a wrap on The Walking Dead, I did not get the chance to watch the panel yet, but of course, we had the New Mutants panel. Was it yesterday, or was
Yeah.
it on? It was
Yes,
yesterday.
I think. Yeah, I think no, it was yeah, it was yesterday. It was yesterday.
Yesterday. Okay. You got here. They do have a tentative release date, theatrical release date. It's cute. They think that's going to happen on August 28th. It was intended, and I say was because we don't know what Disney's plans are for for New Mutants, because if it ends up being a huge success,
Mm-hmm.
Disney's not in the business to lose out on money. But they have planned it. It is intended to be a trilogy. Who knows? It could still be that way. But I guess the guys who created the New Mutants,
Mm-hmm.
it sounds like, from what I understand, not just from their panel, that they really had no intention for these characters to ever be absolved or rolled into the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, you never know with characters like magic and
Yeah,
whatnot. You
it's
all
crazy.
bets are off. But
Yeah.
I gotta imagine, with as popular as some of the characters are in that universe, um, you're eventually going to have the New Mutants.
Hmm.
Well, you're going to have mutants in general
Easily.
appear in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I mean, they've already teased the fact that, just a side note, that Wanda Maximoff is more than, she's not an Inhuman. She's more than just someone who was experimented on. It
Yeah.
was something that was unlocked within her, as they say.
Mm.
So who knows what they're going to do with the New Mutants? But like I said, having seen some of the footage before, I'm really interested to see what this concept is. Like I said, we said in last week's episode, if the New Mutants do well in the genre that they shot this in, which was very much a
Horror-esque. Kind of
horror-esque,
thing.
more of a just a dark
Hmm.
thriller, I guess
Yeah.
you'd say. That Marvel's gonna have to look at it and go, interesting. Are
Yeah.
we missing the boat on Doctor Strange?
Yeah.
So
It will be interesting because, like, I know Kevin Feige has had some lingering doubts per se when it comes to horror based like stuff in the
yeah,
Marvel in the current Marvel realm, and so that's the reason why with the director for Into the Multiverse for Doctor Strange, he just left like, yo, okay, differing opinions, whatever. That wasn't the movie I wanted to make. So cool, and they got Sam Raimi in it, so that's interesting. But like,
which is kind of an even exchange. Yeah,
yeah, it's even exchange. So, but overall, oh, and small segue. Sorry, Judith Grimes, Carl, Rick's daughter,
there you go.
possible
Okay,
daughter, Judith Grimes. But yeah, aside from that, back up to the main point. Yeah, they intended to be a trilogy.
interesting.
Hopefully, they were hoping that somehow New Mutants would be some of the hit. But granted, everything that has happened up to that point, I'm pretty sure this trilogy was supposed to be taking place because, like, they were giving the reins over to the new class of
Yeah,
X-Men, right? And that's supposed to be a new trilogy per se. And then you have New Mutants, which I guess was supposed to run in coherence with that. And you're supposed to have this dark genre slash like horror genre with New Mutants, which originally that's what it was supposed to be in the comics, which is cool.
yeah.
And then you have X-Men, being X-Men. So it originally supposed to be a trilogy, and that the original movie, the original intention was that they're supposed to have the character Warlock, the comic book character Warlock, right?
Yeah,
But couldn't do it because budget constraints. The reason why budget constraints because they wanted Antonio Banderas to play him, and
interesting.
Antonio Banderas is actually set to play Warlock. So this is actually a good crazy teaser for those watching right now. If you haven't picked up Warlock, if you haven't picked up New Mutants, I think it's 18 or so, or
Now,
New Mutants
is
8.
this Warlock as in Adam Warlock?
No. It's a
Oh,
different. It's a different character.
okay, just because people are going to ask.
Yeah.
So
Oh, not Adam Warlock, but it's just his
yeah,
it's a mutant name. It's a mutant name Warlock. But yeah, just 1 second. I literally just bought the issue today, knowing that, and so it's really low right now. It's like $15 to $20. So here's hoping the movie does good, and there is a trilogy involved, and Antonio Banderas is set to play Warlock in the next couple of movies, and so hopefully my investment on that issue isn't bad at all. So,
no, I'll
but
tell you one thing though. There's been some investments that have gone up over the last couple
yeah,
of weeks.
dude, last
Um,
3 days, it's
oh,
crazy.
dude, I'm just telling you, it's a freaking comic. Uh, I trade stocks and whatnot,
Mm,
and also I have invested interest in the lumber industry as well,
mm,
and that's just crazy right now. But comic books, which are very
yeah,
much uh, it's tough because comic books are,
volatile.
you can't treat them like, and we've learned this lesson in the 1990s. um, you can't treat comic books as a portfolio because it's so finicky. But right now, I mean, we are in an era very much like, especially in 2020. I would say right now, 2020, when it comes to comic books, is very much like the .com era in the early 2000s. And there's a possibility, though, that this bubble might burst. But I also think that as long as movies and TV shows are adapted from comic books, there's going to be someone that goes, you know, they're gonna go God Country. Wow, where'd that come from? Google it.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, it was a comic book, dude. Check that
Yep.
out. They're gonna check out Watchmen. I had no idea, even though Watchmen was based, the characters were comic book characters. I had no clue that it was based on a graphic novel. I just saw it, and I actually almost thought that Watchmen, the movie,
Mm-hmm.
was making fun of the
Comic
comic book
characters.
characters, and it's not. It's based on a hugely successful
Yep.
graphic novel series, The Boys on Amazon Prime, based on a comic book.
Mm.
We're seeing now. I didn't know, but we're seeing now the Old Guard on Netflix, based
Yep.
on a hugely unknown. I mean, no. I was talking to Chick from Comic Asylum this past week, and I said, "Hey, have you watched Old Guard yet?" She says, "No, not yet." And I said, "I had no idea it was a comic based on a comic book." And Chick goes, "Neither did I." She had no idea.
Lies.
She said that like you or JaVale had to tell her.
What? That's great. Well, and funny enough, shout out to Chicks and Javelle from Comic Asylum. I saw them yesterday. Because I gave Chicks a first print of Old Guard 1,
There you
going for
go.
like $40 right now. To let you know,
It'll go up because
probably more.
I'm already hearing noise about
That's
this
gonna do. Yeah, it's gonna be more.
movie getting a sequel.
Yeah, or easily,
Netflix
easily.
Netflix is all in on this, and
Yeah,
there's even
easily.
talk that there may, rather than do it as a sequel, they may launch it into a series.
Yeah,
I'm also
easily.
hearing that. So,
Yeah. Which I'm cool with. And so like we are definitely, not to cut you off or anything, but we are definitely now hitting an era where I get you at the point where like we might be in that bubble again, like what we did in the 90s.
yeah,
Thankfully enough, though, we're not reaching that a million copies sold spectacle of what happened in the
exactly.
90s, of just like constantly printing just constant crap out. Granted, the series that were like doing a million aren't crap. It's just like, all it like first print or first run image stuff I'm like is insanely overdone. So, but that's neither here or there. But when it
Yeah,
comes to like stuff like Old Guard, when it comes to the upcoming McFarlane verse that's gonna happen with Netflix, where McFarlane sold all where McFarlane sold all his rights to all of his stories to Netflix, basically trying to do this whole new world there. That's gonna be cool and crazy. And so, oh, definitely, man. I'm super hyped. I'm super hyped for bigger names, or like these names that we have known over the years from people who have done action movies or in movies themselves, going to like Netflix or going to other streaming platforms that do serious comic-esque or pop culture related type of media. And
yeah.
so that's cool. I'm waiting. I'm legit waiting for the time when we get like some serious actors, right, are playing like playing like a bunch of D&D characters that is not Tolkien verse. I'm waiting for that. I am legit waiting for that, man.
I mean
So
the Tolkien white guys.
Tolkien like that, but yeah.
Although that's what it is. It's goodness gracious, I can't think of his name now. But it was the guy who plays um, the CIA agent in Black Panther,
Oh yeah,
and he played it in Civil War.
yeah, yeah.
I can't think of his name.
I know what you mean.
And then the guy who plays Ulysses Claw.
Mm.
That was their nicknames for people that don't know. Like, what are you guys talking
Tolkien,
about? They were
Tolkien
called
white
the
guys.
Tolkien White Guys, which was a play on token white guys, because they were both in all the Tolkien movies,
Mm-hmm.
the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit movies. But no, I love. I think that's going to be the next. I think that's going to be the next thing that's going to be tackled by
Yeah,
Mega Studios doing a D&D.
dude.
I have yet to see World of Warcraft.
Don't. I
Okay.
mean, yeah. I mean, it hits different, man. It's a different type of feel. And World of
Yeah.
Warcraft, even though it looks very D&D, it's from a way different genre of like Middle Earth stuff. What I am hoping honestly is that if Netflix continues this rise in trend of wanting to have like third party stuff out,
Yeah.
and not being like Marvel or DC, but be like third party indie-esque, comic related stuff, and just put it out to Brownfield. One definite franchise I do hope they do is Bitter Roots, which to segue is awesomely enough has one in Eisner. right? Bitter Roots has won an Eisner for best continuing story. For those who don't know what Bitter Roots is, it is a family of basically monster hunters, right? Based in the 1920s of America, and they
Interesting.
are all African American. They're all black. An all black family being known and being touted as the best monster hunting family in the 1920s. Written and illustrated by an all black cast. I hope that, dude. You want to talk about like new age type of shit? Excuse my French, but you want to talk about new age slash old school retro type of stuff, dude?
Yeah.
Do that. Do Bitterroot. I've been reading. I've been like on and off reading that stuff, dude. Bitterroot, yeah, right there. David Mack, right there, homie.
This is
Like
issue number 4 from Bitterroot, Volume 1. Yeah.
it features an all black cast family, of course, and then it's from an all black creative team, and it's just really well done, man. I've been like on and off a couple of issues because like I got so much other stuff to read as well, but I just constantly go back to this one, man. And so you have basically a hunter family in the 1920s. You're talking about all the things and all the crap that's happening at that time. This is before civil rights movement. This is like a couple years after certain events that taken place, i.e. the Civil War, or a couple of decades right after the Civil War. This is I think I remember correctly. Last issue I thought was I think in Harlem. I think.
I can't remember. It's been a while. So this is the only
Yeah.
book that I got because I'm a huge David Mack fan.
Hmm.
But yeah, the the creators on this one, written by Chuck Brown and Sanford Green. That was this volume. And
Yeah.
you have it down. Yeah, co-created by David Walker
Yep.
and Chuck Brown.
Yep.
But this happened to be this one book that I have, which because of David Mack. I do have. It's in my collection. I didn't pull it out. David Mack and Sanford Green signed this one for me. Sanford did the interior artwork on it. So cool book, unique story.
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely,
I
man.
kind of, like I said, when I flipped through, and what I like about the interior artwork, and I showed you there, the interior artwork, and I got to give my props to Sanford Green, is it's different. It's not the typical nice smooth lines of a
Yeah.
superhero and the flowing capes and stuff like that. One of the reasons why I like Maria Lovett, who's draws for Faithless, which I'm sure we'll get into at a
Eventually.
later time, because Faithless
Yeah.
is blowing up right now because there's talk about Faithless getting picked up, and whew,
Yeah, oh, man,
that
that's
may
gonna be interesting.
that might go to Cinemax.
I mean, that's NC-17 right there all day.
Yeah, a little bit.
All day, my
But
guy.
the problem side note real quick,
Mhm.
the problem about adapting Faithless, it is a very unique and freaky story.
Yeah,
Um,
easily.
is
That's
what
putting it
makes
lightly.
really and truly though what I'm it's not what they're drawing, it's how they're drawing it. And Maria just does an amazing job, and it's very similar to what Sanford did on that issue that I just showed you of Bitter Roots. And so it's different. I like different, and I think that's what I liked about what attracted me to that series. Obviously, other than David Mack,
Hmm.
and so I hope it does well. But you were saying that
Yeah,
this was the big. Was this kind of like, is this best continuing story?
that's continuing story.
Is that basically the best picture of, or what's best
If
continuing story?
I would say if it was an Oscar, if no, I guess yeah, if it was an Oscar Emmy like daytime Emmys, there you go, daytime Emmys. It was like best continuing story, like consecutive seasons over and over again type of thing.
Oh, gotcha,
Like
gotcha.
if yeah, so like it's like I said, man, it happened in 1920s Renaissance, the Harlem Renaissance, the only Renaissance in the U.S. that has ever happened. And it's a family based on that, right? They were known as the best monster hunters. And so it's certain dysfunction that I don't want to go into more because I want y'all to read the freaking book and really support that, and hoping like, dude, it's I'm gonna possibly reread everything in the hopefully next 2 weeks or so, and to give y'all a full recap and rundown of what Bitterroot's going through. But like, you talking about a story that is well crafted, that is definitely appealing, right, to the audience now. Pick a Bitterroot. Y'all should pick a Bitterroot, man. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. Go to conventions. Have number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 signed by these authors. Support authors and artists, man. Support them. Do all that stuff, man. If you really hear about social change, man, we got one of the best books right now out. Support that. Support the hell out of that, and just go to the conventions, safely, of course. And then just like,
Exactly.
yo, tell them, let them know, dude. Let them know. But yeah, Bitterroot definitely won in Eisner, and that's saying something because like, yo, that's because Bitterroot has only been out for like less than 2 years or so. Maybe even less than that, actually. It's crazy, and that's continuing story onward, and it's just killing it right now, bro. It's definitely something that we want. Is it actually? I think less than 2 years. Like, I think maybe a little bit over a year, because I think they took a break here and there.
Yeah.
But overall, man, they've been killing it. They definitely know how to hit a fan like me, because some of their cover art, dude, some of the homages they're doing for cover art, I'm like, all right, cool. I need to buy like 5 of those. But overall, yeah, pick it up, Bitterroot.
I definitely be. That's definitely a book that if you want to looking for something to kind of think outside the box, I definitely think, as JR said, that's something to take into consideration. We will have a full recap along with all the major goings on of SDCC at home next week. Part of our, I guess you'd say, part 3 of the Wrath of the Con. Yep. But want to get into, as we have here, my virtual background, as I broadcast to you from my top secret shield location, is of course the silhouette outside of the San Diego Convention Center, famous Hall H. I mean, we're talking about, JR, the mecca of nerddom. This is where people go to pray to the nerd gods once a year. In various forms, whether it be Doctor Who, Warner Brothers, Marvel Studios. Used to be on Sundays, a tradition like no other. It was like playing Sunday at the Masters. It was like March Madness. It was going to Sunday at Hall H with Supernatural. But of course, we know Supernatural came to a close this past year, so there would have been no Sunday panel. First time in over 10 years.
They should have one next year.
There would be no. They need to have a send off, but they kind of did a send off in 2019 for Supernatural. It was a packed house like it always was. You know, people don't realize what Hall H is. It is 7,500 plus. It is the largest convention hall in North America for a Comic-Con, so to speak. And I have had the privilege of spending not 1 but 2 days in Hall H. Like I said in last week's episode, 1 for the Force Awakens panel back in 2015, and then spent the entire day, I believe it was on Saturday, when they had the big, huge Fox panel, which included Deadpool, X-Men Apocalypse, Fantastic Four. They did the unveiling of who was going to play Gambit, which never happened. But it is Hall. You know, that's what Hall H is. And I think what we'll do is kind of kick off the do's and don'ts, the experience of Comic-Con, and we'll start with the Big Daddy. We're going to start with San Diego, because there's your city, wherever you're listening to, whether it be overseas in another country or here in the United States. I'm sure your town, how big or how small, probably has a comic book convention. But we'll start with the Mac Daddy, San Diego. We'll start with Hall H, the do's and don'ts of Hall H. We'll start with the don'ts. Don't waste your time. Don't let Hall H define. This is coming from experience. Don't let Hall H define your experience at San Diego Comic-Con.
It's very true. Very, very true.
You are looking at spending at least 36 hours dedicated to that ballroom, because you're going to spend most likely an entire day. Like, say, for example, you want to get in on a Thursday or Friday. Now, they say they don't let, and this is coming from a little insider information, they don't let overnight camping, but wink, people do. What they do is a bracelet system. So if you want to go on Thursday, they're going to hand out bracelets around midnight on Wednesday going into Thursday. Let's just use that for an example. So Wednesday going to Thursday, you want to be in Hall H on Thursday. Okay. You're going to line up all day on Wednesday. And then around midnight, they're going to hand out bracelets. Now, bracelets means you're guaranteed to get in, so to speak. Then you have to get in line. They hand out exactly how many bracelets that there are seats in Hall H. Now, what they do is they will always allow the bracelets to get in first at the very beginning of the day. If you decide to show up like, I don't want to get into Hall H until 12 o'clock on Thursday, you are SOL. Get back in line, because unless you're there right when it opens, you're not going to get in. So you're spending all day on Wednesday, and then possibly could spend all day on Thursday to get in, not even see the panel that you wanted to see, and you've now wasted 2 full days.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Hall H is. But let's say you do get in. Now, I got lucky. I may have cheated the system to get in. I won't release my sources, but this was years before I started working for Comic-Con International, and I don't think I broke any rules at the time. So,
keyword, he didn't.
I think I did. I have learned that unless I'm going to walk right into Hall H, or if I'm guaranteed a spot, or I've got nothing else to do, I'm not going to Hall H.
Yeah.
Same thing with Ballroom 20. The odds are a little bit more in your favor for Ballroom 20, which is the second largest ballroom in the convention, which usually has the semi-big to big TV shows. Big Bang Theory was in this ballroom. You had, and Siri keeps popping up on my computer, and I don't know why. Big Bang Theory.
Siri, play music.
The CW play was in there, the Arrowverse and whatnot. So all those were in there. Yeah. And I went straight because I remember I wanted to get into Big Theory and see Agent Carter and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. back in 2015. I got lucky. I walked in, I got seats, and I got to be there all day. But I had to spend there all day in Ballroom 20. So that's the downside. If you want to go buy stuff, if you want to go get stuff signed, you got to pick and choose.
Yeah. That's definitely the big, to kind of piggyback off what Kevin has said, man. That's definitely that's definitely one thing to look at, where like you can't look at conventions and just only look at the highlights. Period.
Bingo.
You can't look at the highlights, man, because those highlights are literally 2 days of just absolutely dreading to even try to get in to look at those highlights, man. And like when we all think of Hall H, we all think of like, the Loki moment when Tom Hiddleston came out into 2014, 15?
2016, because
he came out there and like just became Loki on that's a great moment, and that's definitely a once in a lifetime thing.
All-time greats.
Easily, right? Or when Stanley came out to hug absolutely everybody. That's definitely one thing, man. But those are highlights.
I was there.
Yeah, those are 1 second. I got my camera thing going in. But yeah, those are definitely highlights where like of the people who literally stay there for days. And so you can't have the experience be based off of that, man. Like, and so the biggest thing, man, is that if that's what you're looking for, know what you're getting into. Period.
Yeah.
Know what you're gonna be paying a lot of money to basically waste some time waiting to possibly get in. And then if you don't get in, if your whole trip is based off of that, man, you're gonna have a really bad trip. Period.
Yeah, it's just
really bad. Yeah,
it's really
you
bad.
have to know what you're getting into. You really have to know what you're getting into. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna, like I said, to go on that is, I mean, what I would say, what I would do, this is my recommendation. If you have any intention of ever going to San Diego Comic-Con, number one, if you live in Southern California or can afford to travel into Southern California in March, April, go to WonderCon.
Yeah.
Go to WonderCon and let that experience be your test run for what to expect at San Diego.
Yeah,
because they're ran by the same companies. Comic-Con International runs WonderCon. And it is treated as such. It is treated as the baby San Diego Comic-Con. They do big panels. They have big names.
Yep.
Marvel will, when Marvel Television was still around, they sent Marvel TV. DC TV sent some stuff,
Yeah.
but they, for the most part, WonderCon was based around meet and greets
Yep.
as opposed to panels. But there were still panels. But I would go to a WonderCon,
Hmm.
let that experience be your guide,
Yeah.
and
I
go.
definitely. Go ahead. Go ahead.
And I was
Go
just
ahead.
say, and if you go like, okay, I could do this,
Yeah.
because you're gonna wait in lines for I can't remember what they call the Hall H at
Oh, yeah, yeah,
WonderCon.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
the dome is what it is
Yeah, I
or something
think
like that.
so. Yeah, yeah. They did the. It was basically you're waiting in line for, I think, what's called the year I told you to go with me. It was the same year you went to like a big panel, I think. The first year you went to.
I've only been to WonderCon once, and I didn't go to
Okay.
any panels. You know what it was?
Yeah, you went to panel, didn't you?
I was waiting in line because I had a chance to meet Tom King.
Oh, yeah,
I had got a meet and greet
yeah,
for DC.
yeah. The so I definitely would agree. I wholeheartedly agree. If you want to kind of base your assumptions or kind of just test the waters out, do WinterCon first. So WinterCon is definitely it's still considerably smaller than
Yeah,
comparison to San Diego. It's still huge. Don't get me wrong. It's definitely larger than your
you're
normal
local.
your local convention halls or convention centers, right? Maybe not as big as, let's say, Orlando or SDC or Emerald City or
Oh
C2E2,
yeah,
which is in Chicago, but like it's still relatively huge, right? It's still a good point to test your waters out and see if you're want to get into this space or like wanting to be a convention goer, and you just definitely know what you're going for, because when it comes to WonderCon, they feature more so on the things that I love, which is one, comic books, which is
yes.
comic book related things, which is more so in the media space of like how to write comic books, being around authors and writers and artists, and definitely way more intimate, man. I freaking what's the past WinterCon? I met freaking Donnie Cates. I met Donnie
Yeah,
Cates in the last WinterCon, and
lucky
he
bastard.
was so chill, dude. He was so freaking chill. I love the guy, man. Took a picture with him and everything, man. He's definitely the rock. He's definitely a rock star. Definitely really down to earth. And not only that, but WonderCon definitely, or like smaller cons, will get you in the mood or in the know-how of like how certain people act,
Yeah,
because I've seen it so many times where people go, where you have these kids or these younger teens and younger adults, they go to Comic-Con San Diego, they meet their idol, and they're a dick.
yeah.
Because of so many reasons. Like, one, the guy, maybe the actor, actress, author, writer, whatever, has met 15,000 people just in that one day, and people are shoving books in their faces or signatures or whatever, and asking for a picture for the 15,000th time. And so, yeah, they can be testy and be a little bit of a dick, and that's not a good first impression to have. And so definitely these smaller cons, which is a lot more chill, a lot more relaxed, right? Which is not so many people are in your face constantly. It can be truly one-on-one with your possible idol or possible inspiration or possible, you're a big fan of, to actually meet them on a pretty chill level. Like, I've met Donnie Cates. He's gotten huge in the last 2 years, and WinterCon was
Well,
no
yeah,
different.
that's an understatement.
Yeah, he's gotten freaking huge, right? He became a rock star, and then in the last 2 years, and then I see him at WonderCon. He was still kind of hacked. He was still kind of like. There's a lot of people at his booth. Don't get me wrong, but it wasn't as, let's say, when I saw his booth in San Diego, and I saw the booth, like I saw a picture of his booth there. We were just freaking like just packed wall to wall in New York Comic Con as well. When I met him, we we chopped it up, man. We talked about what he's doing with the Carnage run, with the Venom run. He's like, nah, man. Like, I asked him like if he's gonna go back on Venom. Like, yeah, dude, yeah. I'm just taking 2 issues off because of a War of the Realms happening, and we got Carnage coming up. I got all this other stuff coming up, bro. Like, dude, like how long you been a fan? Like, I love you since God Country. Like, what? Hell yeah, bro. And so just those interactions are definitely the ones that you want to have, right?
Oh yeah. Um,
Absolutely. Go ahead. You had a point.
oh, and to kind of back up, because like I said, uh, don't get me wrong. I can remember vividly having a conversation with my dad, um, probably about 10 years ago, and we were eating pizza, chit chatting, and it was right after it was right after Comic-Con.
Uh-huh.
And I was asking my brother, said, hey, let's see. Oh, sorry, I almost ended our call real quick. Sorry. I was like, whoa, what button did I press? So it was right after Comic-Con. I was talking with my brother about, hey, did you hear about this? You hear about that? And my dad's like, what are you guys talking about? Like what are you guys talking about? We're talking about Comic-Con. He's like, what's Comic-Con? And we explained it to him, and he's like, well, when is it? And I said, it's in July. It's in San Diego. It's 5 days, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, you guys want to go? You guys want to go? And we're like, well, yeah, who wouldn't want to go? He's like, I'll get you tickets. And I wanted to go and just go to Hall H and go and see the Marvel Studios, go see the movies and stuff like that. But I've having gone in 2015, I did that. Got to go to Ballroom 20. Got to go to Hall H. Got to experience it. Once in a lifetime. Went to the Star Wars concert. I realized looking back, though I spent some time in Artist Alley just perusing, because I didn't know. I wasn't back to collecting yet. It wasn't until 2016 when I back to collecting. That's what I was missing. And when I finally just said, when I wasn't in Hall H or Ballroom 20, though, I walked up and down that convention hall, backwards and forwards and right to left, just looking at everything. Like JR said, though, you can do so much more and get your money's worth out of it. Even if you are going to Comic-Con to get books signed and pick up collectibles to flip them, you can't do that by being in Hall H and Ballroom 20. If you're waiting in line for Hall H because you want to go to the Marvel panel, hey, if you're a fan, you're a fan. That's cool. Yeah. But
you are missing out.
You can go make your money's worth by not going to Hall H and going and buying swag and stuff like that. And that's what I enjoyed, and I think it's why I better enjoyed my con experience in 2017 by spending 90% of my time in Artist Alley, and getting to meet your heroes. And that's where I got to meet guys, getting to meet guys like David Mack for the first time. And I said this last week, getting to meet guys like Felipe Smith, meeting, I was gonna say Danny Meeke, but I met Danny Meeke in Palm Springs. I was going to say getting to meet Jim Lee, but I met Jim Lee in Palm Springs too.
How dare you? I'm taking my pictures down, dude.
What's that?
I want to put my pictures down. Damn it.
But I mean, I'll use for example. I think I told the story before, but I'll tell it again for those of you who missed it. They say JR said, "Don't meet your heroes," and by the way, Jim Lee could not have been cooler.
He's freaking awesome, dude.
Last year in Vegas, met one of the greatest of all time, George Perez.
Oh, you got my joke.
And
you lucky bastards.
Could not have been a nicer guy. Just absolute chill guy. Was happy to be there, and just all around good dude. Let's see if I can find it. I think I've got the picture here.
Oh, the picture, yeah.
Let's see here.
As he's looking for that picture, guys, definitely. George Perez was actually that's his last run for comic
That's his last convention.
Yeah, that's the last year was his last convention run, and so he is definitely a great, awesome dude, man. You guys got super freaking lucky, man. But it's a different type of thing, man. When that you're about to technically retire per se, and so you're just chilling your last year. Whatever, just dude, let's do all these events, man. So he must have been super. I know he's just super pleasant in general, but he must have been super pleasant knowing that it's my last year. I'm just gonna have fun.
Absolutely loved everyone there. Another couple of guys that were super cool, and guys that have had a reputation, but ended up being really chill. These two guys, Jim Starlin, Ron Lim. Oh my gosh, and there he is, rocking the Pokeball, got the Dodger hat on, the Gwenpool shirt on. Ron Lim, good dude. Jim Starlin, he could be a little bit of a diva.
But I mean,
the dude wrote the Infinity Gauntlet, Infinity War. I mean,
I can understand.
Legend.
I can understand why he can be a certain way, man. But Jim Starlin is definitely a treat when you see him pissed off.
Another super cool guy, and I won't flex for very much longer.
Mhm.
But again, one of the good guys in the industry, and the guy is celebrating the last couple of years with some huge successes. Is this guy right here, a guy who I share a name with, and that is the legendary Kevin Eastman. That is a volume 1 first print,
Yeah, man.
issue number 4 of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I actually have 2 copies of that book. That book right there, The Witness for CGC, I think was just off to the left.
Uh-huh.
That book got sent off to CGC seconds later. You can see in the background right there, there is the
I was about to
legendary
say.
Chick.
I was about to say. I spied with my Asian eye, 2 Asians in the background.
And there's Javelle right there
Yeah,
eyeballing some Kevin Eastman stuff.
yeah.
And I do have, and again, this is an experience that you can't get if you are sitting in a chair in a Hall H. Again, nothing wrong with that. You want to
Yeah.
do it, that's your own prerogative. You want to go to Ballroom 20, that's my job at Comic-Con. I run Ballroom 20, or I run the lines at Ballroom 20. So that's my job. So I want you guys to go there.
Yeah.
But if you want experiences like that, you cannot do that in Ballroom 20
Yeah.
in Hall H. You want to
What?
do that,
Yeah.
you got to go down to the artist alley.
Mhm.
You got to go to the other panels. Like JR said, is there are other panels. If you want to go to panels and you want to learn about this industry, and you know what, you might get lucky. You could
Mhm.
go to a panel about, we're going to learn how to draw today. And you can walk in there.
No
I'm
way.
telling you, people, back in the day, and we're talking just 15, 20 years ago, you could walk into a how to learn to draw panel, which typically has a max capacity of 15 people.
Mhm. Yep. No. No lie.
15, 20, 30 years ago, I've heard stories in San Diego, how to learn to draw panels. Guy walks in, the guy teaching you how to draw, I kid you not, Jack King Kirby. You talk about Mount Rushmore. There's Stan Lee, there's Simon and Schuster, and then there's Jack King Kirby. And maybe trying to push his head in might be a Ditko, might be a John Romita Sr. But yeah, Jack King Kirby would. And I've talked to guys who've been to San Diego Comic-Con in recent memory that were walking the exhibition hall, hundreds of thousands of people.
Yep.
Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. I mean, not right next to each other because they weren't getting along.
That's a
Just
understatement.
chilling, just chilling there, doodling on a napkin.
Yep.
Um, you guys, you're gonna. I know this is the story I was gonna go to tell was Felipe Smith. I was going to get his autograph. He's the guy who created Ghost Rider Robbie Reyes. By the way, pick up that series. It's gonna get hot again. Pun intended. He had a great run, especially the guy who played Robbie Reyes did a great job at portraying him. It's going to happen. They canceled the show on Hulu, but it's in turnaround. I think he's going to end up in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He did have a
Yeah.
run in Agents of Shield, but the Ghost Rider it's gonna be there. It's gonna be in the MCU sooner than
Yeah.
later. But
Easily.
Felipe Smith, I wanted to get these books signed because I finally got my hands on first print, volume 1, issue 1, first appearance of Ghost Rider Robbie Reyes. I got lucky. I paid $10 with it. Shout out to Comics and Stuff in Oceanside. Give them a cool shout out because they're hurting right now. Comics and Stuff have 3 branches in San Diego. 2 of the 3 are inside malls, and you can't get to them right now. So shout out to them. They have 1 location in El Cajon right now that is not connected to a mall, and they're hurting right now.
Yeah.
So give them a shout out. If you're in San Diego, if you can get into Comics and Stuff, check them out. Huge back issue collection. Anyways, got the first appearance of Robbie Reyes book for $10 at Comics and Stuff. Got Felipe Smith the autograph at that weekend in San Diego at Comic-Con. Had no idea who he was. Would have never walked right past him. I just ended up talking with this guy for 30, 45 minutes about the industry. What are you into? Blah, blah, blah. Just like you and I talk, JR.
Mm-hmm.
Guy goes, hey, before I forget, you want that book signed? And I look at his badge. I'm like, holy crap, dude, I've been talking to Felipe Smith for 45 minutes.
Yep.
Just chill as hell. And you're going to have those moments without going to Hall H.
That's what I'm saying.
But,
And the one thing that I will always say, man, is that if this was maybe 15 years ago, maybe doing a Hall H. Yeah, okay, cool. Maybe that's you take that risk, right? But just let y'all know, man, we all got YouTube.
And
Everything you see in OLH, right? You will see on YouTube. The
yeah,
panels are up on YouTube. Everything's up. So like, I understand that if you go to Hall H, you probably will see some you'll see a trailer that won't be released to the public. You'll see
yes,
you'll have some stuff like maybe some merch there that's specifically for that Hall H stuff, right? I get that you go for the
very
for
rare.
maybe
Yeah,
for you go there for maybe the the rare super rare item stuff, right? But like in general, majority of the time when from what I'm seeing and from what I've been told and what I've been hearing is that majority of the people that go to Hall H are just big fans, are huge fans that are willing to take, to wait a full day just to get in there for the Marvel panel, for Doctor Who, for I don't know, maybe Archie or some other offbeat, different type of media within this comic book related world. But yo, like we all got Facebook, we all got YouTube too, guys. Like
and
you have a better chance. You have a better chance of having moments like that, right?
yeah.
Meeting the author or artist or possibly an actor that's just chilling in full get up, just trying to live life. And so you have a better chance of like just enjoying your time at the convention than basically, in my eyes, kind of wasting time waiting for a possibility to get into Hall H.
Oh, by the
Specifically if you're in
way,
San Diego,
you
especially if you're in San
also
Diego.
you
But
also won't have an experience like this. Yes, that would be the creator of Robot Chicken, the
yeah,
voice
man.
of Chris Griffin. That is Mr. Seth Green, and dude was just chilling on the on the exhibit floor, and I walked up to him, and he was funny. This is pre-corona, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Guy grabs my phone out of my hand and takes the selfie. So that picture right there, as blurry as it is, that's all.
Yeah,
That's
man.
all Seth Green right there. And Guy could not have been cooler. I think he was happy to be recognized. His girlfriend, on the other hand, probably not so cool.
I
Um,
mean, I mean, you know what you're coming into if you're the girlfriend of the nerd, right? You
yeah,
know what you're getting into, but like it's definitely one of those things that like you have to know basically why are you going to Comic Con? That's the biggest question. Why are you going? Are you going because you want the bigger glitz and glamour, want to meet the movie stars and want to meet, get pictures and have your autograph signed, having autographs and stuff signed for you? Okay, cool. But then at the same time, you have to be willing to basically wait a whole day to possibly get into these panels,
yep,
possibly meet them. You have to wait in line again to possibly get your stuff signed, which they have like an hour or so time allotted. And the second that time allotted is done, they're gone because
yep.
they have other things to do. They let you have, like you don't want your I know for me, I can't say for everybody else, but I know for me, I wouldn't want my experience be hampered when I'm working on somebody else's time clock, you know. And so
We
I would rather go there for my own time clock, enjoy everything else that a con has, and then I don't know, work on whatever I need to work on, man, when it comes to
now
the convention.
would you when you talk about waiting in line though,
Uh-huh.
um, for stuff, would you wait in line for this?
I hate you so freaking much. I'm gonna legit drop kick you the next time I see you, man. If y'all don't know, that is the man Stanley Art Germ Lau, the one of the biggest hot up and coming artists that in the last like 3 years now. Even though he's been around for much longer, I mean, his work has been on the last run of I think volume 2 or 3 of Batgirl,
Yeah.
and oh,
And by the way, that's Felipe Smith too.
I
By the
hate
way,
you,
so I just wanted.
yeah.
Um,
Man, but yeah, he's definitely, man. Like Comic Con is so much more than the bigger stars. Granted,
yeah,
yes, I understand why the other big stars, so people can freaking come, but like, don't let your I would be I would be a disservice to myself if I let my experience be predicated on the idea of meeting the big names, right? Don't get me wrong,
yeah,
man. The main reason I went to freaking Comic Con Palm Springs was to try to meet Stan Lee, was to try to meet some of the bigger like guest television names. They had Troy Baker there one time, but then I stayed because I met freaking Roberto Ramos. I stayed because I met freaking.
I got super lucky meeting him.
Oh, dude, he's freaking awesome, man.
I met
Will
him
Smith.
as he was walking out, and Chick goes, "Hey, don't you have a Humberto Ramos book?" And I go, "No, I left it at home." Why? And he goes, "Because that's him right there." And he was getting ready to leave, and Chick gave me a copy of. It was a Daredevil cover, and it was when they were doing the Mary Jane variants the first time.
Yeah, I know.
And
Yeah.
I got that book signed by him literally as he was leaving. Didn't even get a chance to get a picture with him, but could not have been a cooler guy. The other thing too, to kind of go back to the side conventions, to kind of talk about what JR was saying too, is to kind of do like a practice run. Is if you can't afford to go to San Diego, don't let San Diego be the bar too. And what I mean by that is, don't not go to a local convention because, oh dude, it doesn't have Marvel Studios, it doesn't have it doesn't have Warner Brothers, it doesn't have Robert Downey Jr. signing autographs when 1,200 people are trying to wait in line. Go to a regional convention, go to a local con. Yep. When we did have Comic-Con Palm Springs, and talking with Chris Spellman lately, it sounds like he's not given up hope on there being another go round of Comic-Con Palm Springs. I just think in the current coronavirus, it's a little tough to lay it out, because a small con like that, you can't just snap your fingers and invite some big name. You have to plan this a year in advance, and right now we don't know what's going to happen in 2021. I mean, locally, just yesterday, the Date Festival and Riverside County Fair was canceled for 2021. That's in February. The Rose Parade was canceled. That's January 1st. It's a tradition that's been going on since before World War II. Have already been canceled for years. We don't know what 2021 has in store for us. So Chris Bowman says he's not giving up hope on that, there's a possibility of them bringing a con back maybe as early as 2021, but most likely looking at a late 2021 or maybe a fall of 2022. But again, don't let San Diego be like, okay, I'm only going to go to Comic-Con if it's in San Diego. No, go to a local con. Let that be a test run. I got lucky. I got a press pass to San Diego, so it was a free pass. But since then, I've been to more local cons than I have been to the big ones. I've been to 4 San Diegos. I've been to Palm Springs 3 times. I went to PS Comic Expo. I went to Fantasia Con once. I went to Amazing Con once, which I would go to again in a heartbeat. We've been to Revolution 3 times. And I think I've had a more successful run in Revolution. I mean, I met Chris Claremont within an hour of me being at Revolution. Met Fabian Macias, I think that's how you say his last name, co-creators of Deadpool. I showed you the original that I got from him, or not the original, the personalized work that I got from him last year. The only downside was that year, that was in 2017. You met him, Atner met him, our friend Atner met him. I didn't, because I wasn't paying attention, was Jason Aaron, who is a huge guy right now with the Thor run and whatnot. But
the last Thor run, and currently Valkyrie run, and then he'd do another one too.
But my recommendation too is go to a local con, let that kind of be a test run. The only other thing too that I can think of off the top of my head, for maybe for some do's and don'ts, is you don't have to be in the convention center to have a good time at San Diego. If you want to go to San Diego, go down there. If you live in Southern California, make a day trip out of it. You can go and park at Qualcomm Stadium for free. Take the trolley over for $5-10 a pop. Takes you right to downtown. Drops you off right in front of the convention center. Off-site stuff you don't need a badge to be involved with, and you can people watch all day long. People in costumes, cosplay, stuff like that. You can still possibly run into celebrities down there in the Gaslamp Quarter. I know that in the past, I know this year, not so much, but for obvious reasons. But typically, like Nerdist or Sci-Fi Wire will take over Qualcomm Stadium and they'll do some kind of experience. The few years back, AMC took over and they did a zombie
Yep.
a zombie obstacle course.
Yeah, that's right.
So they've got all kinds of stuff go on downtown. So um,
I was like, I think we're still doing do's and don'ts for them. I think the biggest thing too is that the one of the biggest do's that you must do. I guess the biggest don't as well is that know your budget. Know your budget, my
yes,
dude. No, because here's the thing. Like, even though you might be a fan of everything, right? And you're like, oh, let's go on because I want to get a picture with this person, or I want to get a autograph for this person, right? Let me let you know, like, right? If you want an autograph with like a well-known person, $50 off the bat.
yeah.
Signature, another 30-40 bucks off the bat. So right there, dude, that's like 70-80 bucks, man, possibly. And
Yep.
even if it's just like, not even I guess not even like a full-on action / movie star, dude. I freaking what's called I forgot who it was. I think the dude, it's one of the dude. I'm not gonna say names, but it's one of the dudes that was in the Comic-Con Palm Springs couple, like the last one, right? He was like a well-known character. Like, I guess he wasn't one of the main characters, but he was a well-known character. He wasn't on the main cast. The dude was asking like $50 per autograph.
I think we talked about him last day, but we won't bring him up again.
Yes, I'm saying. Yeah, I'm like, okay, cool. And he like maybe $30 or $30-40 for a picture.
Yeah,
I'm like,
it's who I'm thinking
yo,
about.
dude. Like, like what was the last, like? I get it, because I get why people do that, because a lot of these actors that aren't getting continual roles, they
That's
they
how
need
they
to
make
make
them.
that
That's how they make money.
they need to make the money somehow, right? So I get that, but like, you have to know your budget. You can't just like, oh yeah, I love this character, I love this person who he played, and this person is nice and warm and is very open to do whatever. Very open about just talking to me and being nice and all that stuff. So I'll definitely pay that $50-$60 for a picture. Yeah, of course you're gonna pay $50-$60. Of course they're gonna be nice to you, because they're waiting for $50 to $60 for you. And you have to really know your budget and try not to deviate from that, because believe me, it adds up. I went into Comic-Con Palm Springs thinking I'm gonna spend less than $200. I left there being in the hole. That was
It's
my
Vegas.
first.
It's
Oh,
Vegas. It's
dude.
just like Vegas. JR is correct. You do have to take budget into consideration, but you also take into consideration that you're gonna need to eat.
Mm,
Now, the nice thing about it is when you go to places like Comic Con Palm Springs, when you go to places like Revolution and even Vegas at Amazing Con,
mm.
because they're smaller conventions, that are you can easily access the outside of the convention hall very easily. And I know that San Diego, they it's year to year. It's year to year that they allow people to. It's year to year that they allow people to come back into the convention center.
Yeah.
Revolution in Ontario, not a problem. You
Yeah.
want to leave and come back in, not a problem.
Mm.
What I was getting to is food. They have food trucks. Now people would go like, food trucks? No, dude, they have some bomb food trucks at Revolution. Very good. Amazing
Winter,
Con. You're talking about Vegas. So you're talking about gourmet food
yeah.
trucks.
Yeah.
Great food, some really cool stuff.
WonderCon, the same thing. WonderCon has some
WonderCon
great food trucks too.
That's right. And WonderCon really does a really good job of their offsite stuff.
Yeah.
And like they had a Nintendo Switch Super Smash Brothers tournament going on out in front of the convention center there in Anaheim. But really cool. The food. Now, San Diego Comic-Con, it's a little different. You have to understand that some of these convention centers, 90% of these convention centers are manned by union employees. Okay. And why is that important? Because I'm going to tell you, the food's going to be expensive.
Yeah.
A slice of pizza, a slice. And we're not talking Costco slice of pizza, which I'm going to give the chef kiss another time. Pepperoni pizza at Costco, making me hungry right now. You're not getting a Costco slice of pizza. You're getting maybe a Little Caesars sliver of pepperoni, where maybe you get about 2 little pepperonis on it, $10.
Yeah.
Easily at San Diego.
You want
It's
some water
gotten
with
a
that?
little bit. It's gotten a little bit better.
Yeah, you want some
But
more with that, dude? That's $8 right there as well.
yeah, easily. Now, you don't go to San Diego. You don't go.
Did he say Sham Diego? Did he
No,
say Sham Diego?
if you don't go to San Diego on a diet, okay? Um, I have put on the Con 15 easily. But
Really?
here is the catch though.
Okay.
It's one of the few times, and I know that in this coronavirus, it's not. That's not funny, Kevin. Comic Con has what's known as the con crud.
Yep.
Okay, it is a guarantee that you are going to get sick in San Diego. Hence, why they're not having the convention during the coronavirus.
Yeah.
Okay. You will get sick.
Easily.
So if you know you're gonna get sick, you might as well pack on the pounds and stay away from the salads, stay away from the healthy eats, because two things are gonna happen. You're gonna get the crud, and you're gonna get rid of the food, the poundage you put on.
Yeah.
The second thing is you are going to sweat your ass off. Okay. Now, why is that important? Well, your body, of course, 70% water. You're going to sweat off more pounds than anything. Stay hydrated. They do allow you to bring in. I know you can't kind of see because my background, my virtual background.
Yeah.
I brought this size Yeti. This is a 36-ounce Yeti. Bring something like this in. I bought it for San Diego this year. Yeti makes a sling that you can throw over your shoulders. Yeah. And they'll let you bring that in. And they'll have water stations that you can fill it up.
Yeah. I will say, just kind of do that. It depends on the con as well, because I do know there was a couple of cons that I went to. They did not include outside drink, so that's
okay. Yeah, they are. Some places may do a sniff test.
Yeah. Comic-Con,
I got lucky.
That to me.
You do, yes. JR is correct. Do your research. Look up what their food restrictions are. But for the most part, I've seen them. And if not, worth the investment. San Diego, starting this year, was selling water bottles similar to this. You don't have to have a name brand like a Yeti or a Hydro Flask. A insulated water bottle is going to work just as fine. Because more than likely, like a Yeti is important, especially if you're out here in the desert where it's hotter than hell. A super insulated water bottle like this or a Hydro Flask is very important. I take it to Comic-Con because of the size and it's insulated, because I'm also working. There are drinking fountains around there for you to top it off. And if not, like I said, if you have to break down and get some water, and like I said, in some cases they will allow you to re-enter the convention center in San Diego. But you can go off-site to eat, and the prices are relatively inexpensive. You can probably go about 3 blocks off the convention center to get a Subway or a Taco Bell or something like that.
And that's what the good thing about established cons per se, because majority of the time too, if your con is established right within the city, that like the city is actually kind of just hoping that con season comes up again. Like like San Diego cannot would absolutely love a continual San Diego Comic-Con.
Yes.
And like as well as Seattle with ECC, and Chicago with C2E2, and Anaheim definitely with WinterCon. So majority of the time too, when you have to, and this falls under the budget as well. What I would like, the best thing for you to do is, honestly, even though it does kind of go in contradiction with my your budget type of thing, I would recommend definitely getting a hotel close to the convention center, because just for the sheer fact of like you might not, if you specifically are going in and that's your first convention, or just kind of just going in kind of guns blazing, if you are an outgoing person, it will definitely wear on you the first 2-3 hours, maybe even first hour on you.
If you are an introvert, you're in the wrong business.
You will know large crowds. Like if you just think like a mall, but then constantly being in the middle of that mall for the next 2-3 hours, dude.
Imagine the mall on Black Friday times 10 all day long.
San Diego. And half of that you might have WinterCon. You might. And so I would definitely recommend having, because for WinterCon, the convention center is right in the middle, and then there's a street that goes down to it, and right in like in between that, in that one street, you have like maybe 6 or 7 hotels, right? The biggest one being the Renaissance on the right side of it, and the second biggest one being the another bigger
You talking about
hotel.
San Diego?
No, Anaheim.
Anaheim. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
WonderCon. And so there's another one right there on the side of it too, and along that are these other the other hotels, which I stayed at the Lion, I think it's called the Lion something, and it's literally I can walk down to the convention center. It's super easy, and I recommend that. I always recommend that, even because you just don't know how you're gonna feel and react. Sometimes you kind of just like, all right, cool, I'm done with people today. I got to go back to my room for like 3 hours and kind of just
or what you
decompress.
bought.
Yeah, that too. Oh, absolutely, dude. You do not want to be lugging possibly $120 worth of just merchandise on your back for another 2-3 hours, man.
I will say this, and to kind of tie in what JR is talking about.
Yeah.
With San Diego, to compare and contrast, Anaheim's a little bit easier because you can get your tickets at WonderCon relatively easily.
Yep.
You can get hotels in downtown Anaheim relatively easy. San Diego, not only is it a lotto, let's put it this way, in some cases you have a better chance of winning the lottery than getting passes to San Diego Comic-Con. At the same time, there's a lottery for hotel rooms. So getting hotel rooms in downtown San Diego, and the other 2 biggest hotel rooms are on the bookends of the convention center, the Marriott and the Hyatt.
There you go.
And they're going to go like that. They're going to say, like, I have a friend of mine did a podcast with, his name is Anthony Girardi. We mentioned him last week. He also does a podcast. You can find it. But he would tell me that he would have to stay in El Cajon. Actually, take that, not in El Cajon. He'd stay in Chula Vista, which is basically the border of the United States and Mexico. I mean, it is, you throw a rock, you're going to hit TJ.
Yeah.
And he would take the red line, the trolley up from Chula Vista to the convention center. 20-30 minute red line or a trolley ride. Not too bad. It's an easy ticket. So he just figures, I'm going to still stay at the Motel 6 down there in Chula Vista, save a couple of bucks. When we went in 2015, that same room that he always got, because it was off the beaten path, it was way down there in Chula Vista, same hotel room, $300 a night. Damn. A night. Yep. Now, what I recommend, for those of you wanting to go to San Diego, wherever the Hall H logo is, to counter what JR said, we waited to the last minute to get WonderCon passes. We got lucky. We got them. We got 2 adults, 2 kids. I ended up having to stay off site, so to speak, right on the 55 freeway. We got a last minute hotel room. If you can't get a hotel room near the convention center, go and it's, again, take San Diego out for a second. If you're going to go to a convention like a C2E2, WonderCon, Emerald City, Miami, Salt Lake City, a Dragon Con, Anime Con, or whatever they're called. You're going to go to those ones that are still BlizzCon in Anaheim. If you cannot get a hotel room near the hotel, go to like a hotels.com or one of those like web-based. You could find some really good sweet deals. That's what I did with WonderCon in 2019. And then with WonderCon is you drive right across the freeway to Anaheim Stadium. They have shuttles that run about every 20 minutes that will take you right to the front of the convention center and drop you off. And we'll do the same thing, picking up usually till about 10 to 11 o'clock at night. San Diego does the same thing. I happen to stay in North County in San Diego, where I have a place, and I will jump on the coaster from Oceanside that will drop me off at the end of the line at the Santa Fe Depot in downtown San Diego, hop on the green line, which is the trolley that takes you from they'll take you from the Santa Fe Depot right to the front of the convention center. Or again, you can drive into town, drive to Qualcomm, take the trolley to downtown San Diego. But no transportation as well. Do some research. Usually the con websites will post transportation information on the websites, but do a little research, find out if they have trains, trolleys, buses, whatever, Ubers. In this day and age with ride sharing, there's a lot of Ubering and stuff like that. So know that.
That definitely does call like if you're looking at the big conventions, definitely. I mean, there's horror stories that I freaking hear where when people that especially with Airbnb too, when people try to do
Yeah.
Airbnb during these events, man, they hike up the prices like crazy, and
Especially the last few years. Yeah.
oh, dude, and it's definitely on that fever pitch because like, oh, yeah, these freaking nerds wanna stay at my house. Well, then that's $1,000 a night or some crazy stuff like that.
It gets to Coachella level. Yeah.
Dude, it gets insane. I understand why they do it because everybody wants money rubbing, whatever, and so but like know what you're getting. Definitely know what you're getting into, and like you're expecting even before the con happens, it's a possibility you might be looking at getting your ticket and your just for essential stuff, eating, travel, getting your ticket, possible stay wherever you may be, you're looking at near $1,000 just for
Yeah.
your full stay. You're looking at near $1,000, and so you had to find your budget within that too. And not only that, but you're also looking at the stuff you're gonna probably be spending at the convention, and you're looking at possibly if you want to, do a meet and greet with a Hollywood star or artist or someone who's of high acclaim in whatever field they are in. You're looking at that pricing. You're looking at possible swag stuff you want to get from there. You're looking at possible comic books. I know for me, that's definitely the biggest, the biggest buy that I will get. Just will be in my comic book section stuff. You're looking at possibly, maybe getting prints and art stuff and these weird, these crazy little knickknacks that you just find at comic conventions or conventions in general, and you have to really, really look at budget. And as much as I would love to say that I just want to be young and dumb and just spend thousands upon $1,000, man. Like you can't, bro.
It goes
Uh,
like that.
it easily does, man. Especially if you're at a big con like San Diego Comic Con, because there's a lot of good stuff there. Specifically, the last few years, man, where before Comic Con was about, or San Diego Comic Con was about comic book stuff and just full on geek stuff. Now, man, it's definitely more geared towards like the newer pop culture things. I remember a couple years ago they had fidget spinners, fidget spinners. Just basically they ran a couple of the boards, man, a couple years ago at San Diego Comic Con, and it's very much geared to what is hot and popping now,
Yeah.
and we have a lot of stuff in your face, and you just might, the impulse buy conventions happen instantly.
I'm guilty of it. At WonderCon, as soon as I will preach
Yeah.
to the day I die that walk the entire convention floor until you make your first purchase.
Yeah.
However, I amend that in rare cases when you have, obviously, I'm just going to use this as an example. If you've got an Action Comics #1 first print from 1930s hanging from the wall, I don't care in any kind of condition, and it's $10, you grab that shit.
Yeah.
If it's a 1.5, you grab that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I made the mistake at WonderCon 2019.
Okay.
Walked in the door with my kids and my wife.
Mm-hmm.
Walked right past a Funko booth
Mm-hmm.
and dropped a couple $100.
Love it.
10 minutes.
What did you get?
10 minutes.
What did you, your wife, your kids get?
Now I got a 10-inch Pikachu.
Okay.
Now I take the the Funkos out of the box. Okay. I'm not one of those guys like it's got to be mint condition, boxes all square, blah 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 blah, like JR, where he's got it in his background right there. I take them out. I take my Funkos out. I've got people that say I'm a savage. People say I'm sacrilegious. I take my Funkos out of the box. I have fun. They're
fine. Your thing.
I'm not gonna flip them. They're proudly on display here. I'll show you in just a second here, because I do have pictures of it. There's my Funko collection. Part of my Funko collection.
Give me a second. Let me just go through all this stuff real quick.
So there's the equivalent to of the 10 inches. There's a 10-inch Contest of Champions Hulk right there. There's a T-Rex from Jurassic Park. You have the right there the Jeff Goldblum, Dr. Ian
Yeah.
Malcolm, broken leg. Right behind you see Phil Coulson in Lola from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I've got the Megazord. Oh my gosh, that Megazord! I got so lucky at San Diego.
I know, dude. That Megazord's like $120. What the heck? Oh my gosh,
I got it, dude. I got it for like $30-$40.
I don't like you right now, bro. What the hell?
Now, you want to
Sorry.
really don't like me? Look at this one right here, down on the bottom. I got this one. I was one of the last ones to get it. Right there on the bottom, that is Princess Leia with Jabba the Hutt. I got that right around the time that Carrie Fisher passed away. They do not make Slave Leia any longer. Carrie Fisher's last wishes were that the
Don't do
Slave
that.
Leia costume would go away. So I bought that was at Asylum. I have a land speeder. That was I believe that was a collector core
That's right.
style of box exclusive. Then of course, let me see where I can find my. There we go. Here's the other collection. That's the 10-inch Pikachu from WonderCon 2019. Out of the box, so you can kind of scale what they look for. There is the Daenerys Targaryen that I traded a Hulk book for at one of the first brag nights at the Asylum.
Mm-hmm.
This was taken back in July of 2019. I actually have I have no more room in my Funko boxes.
Mm-hmm.
I actually have all of the regular size Pokemon, all the 10 inchers except for the Mewtwo that hasn't come out yet. Yeah, that's my Funko collection. Yeah, so
I had a thought, man. I can't. You just wrecking it now, man. You got me on this tangent of trying to find out what the heck. Oh my gosh. Go ahead. Continue,
I will also show what I did bought, which was the big ticket item that I got at WonderCon in 2019. Was I thought I had the picture in here. Maybe I don't. But maybe it was under that same photo collection here. Let me see if I can find it. I stumbled upon, now I've gotten into statues. I was not a fan of buying statues.
Okay.
I changed my tune. I blame Chick for this.
Okay.
I bought a broken Superman statue off of her because she broke it and she gave it to me in a discounted rate. Thank you, Chick. It was one of those deals. She broke it. She was heartbroken that she broke it. And I went dibs, and she's like, "You want a broken statue?" I'm like, "What's it going to cost me?" So she gave me a discounted on it. This is the closest thing I have to it. Let me see. I'll show you this. This is something I bought at WonderCon last year. And again, you can find stuff like this if you pay attention.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Right there, that is a Jolie Jones statue of Batgirl.
Yeah.
Doing a selfie. Got that for $60.
Nice.
Super lucky. And again, this goes to what JR was talking about, was I gave up on doing something else that weekend and to go stand in line and have, you can't quite see it, but right there on the base, I have Jolie Jones' signature on it. Spent some time in line, got her to sign it. I just had the base at the time, and she asked me, "Oh, cool, what statue was it?" And I had taken a picture of it in my hotel room the night before when I bought it. And she's like, "Oh my gosh, I love that piece. How much did you pay for it?" And she's thinking I paid like $200 for it. I told her, so I found it for a steal for like 60. She's like, "Oh my gosh, you got super lucky." Now, same thing. Found this one in a magazine, super inexpensive. I think this one, Art Germ Supergirl right here, cost me like maybe $100-$120. These statues usually go for about $200. Also signed by Art Germ.
Stanley Lau.
And then this one right here is the Michael Turner Supergirl. This one actually you can find on Sideshow right now. It just came out for 2020. Is a miniature version of that statue. Of course, Michael Turner passed away. Not a chance to sign it, but this is the aforementioned
broken
man statue that's broken.
Broken piece statue, man.
So
it's been like there's definitely gotta be we gotta definitely do an episode about statues per se, or like just like granted I only have like 2 statues and they're the premium size statues. I don't know if I could.
We'll do it.
Yeah.
But
just show you my power.
If you guys and while JR finds out, if you guys have any other questions, there's of course Power Girl. one of the most recognizable comic book characters, I think, in the DC universe.
The best Kryptonian,
Um,
in my opinion. Yeah.
Kind of wrapping up our con. If you guys have any other questions, we will do a full wrap up on
Yeah.
San Diego Comic Con at home and
yeah.
preview
Yeah.
the WB at home thing that's going to come out in August. Next month. Update you on anything that Marvel has announced. We do know this real quick before we move on to our let's call it what it is, our bitch fest for the week. Our soapbox, our rant, and then we'll get into our pull list flex. Put a pretty little bow on do's and don'ts. Just know what you're getting into. Hit me up on social media, and I'll answer any questions. But set a budget, know what you're getting yourself into, and pick and choose your battles.
Yeah.
If you want to go to Hall H, if you want to spend your time in line for a panel, then that's what you're going to do. If you want to meet artists, if you want to walk the exhibit hall, then do that. Now, to tie into that real quick, and again, I think we're going to move I'll rant about it a little bit, but we're going to talk about the retail side of cons. I think we'll move that to next week to the overview.
Well, we're definitely going to do like more do's and don'ts next week as well, too, though, guys. So because definitely going to be on that.
Just know if you're looking for some exclusives, okay? So from a retail side, if you're looking to buy a Funko, for example, I'd say 9 times out of 10, you can find some of those exclusives, some at Target, Amazon, or a Hot Topic, okay? It's a possibility you can find those at a brick and mortar retail store. There he goes. He got himself into focus now. On the flip side, if you want to go wait in line for Hall H, you can go buy your Funkos, maybe some of them at a brick and mortar store the week of Comic-Con or the week after. Flip side, if you want to go to the retail side but want to see what happens in Hall H, I'd say 95% of what goes on in Hall H and Ballroom 20 is going to make itself onto YouTube. Flicks and City is a good example of a YouTube channel that will, I think, has the exclusive rights to do restream. Restream what goes on in the panels. They have a backlog going back to like 2013 of Comic-Con panels. Also, all the trailers are going to get launched within 30 to 45 minutes of a panel closing. Top Gun Maverick.
Less.
Oh yeah. I was on the coaster headed home from Thursday night at Comic-Con, which was the first big day of San Diego last year. Before I got on, or actually before I hit the first stop on the train, Top Gun Maverick, which was the last panel of the day, or one of the last panels, was still going on when I left. By the time I hit the second stop, they had already released the trailer on IMDb. So you can get your information if you want to.
It's relative. Like we live in a instant media now society where last year, I remember correctly, there was still a panel going on, and then the trailer, because usually what happens during a panel thing is that the trailer comes on first, right? And then we have panel discussion. Like the panel was still going on and the trailer released for a certain, I think it was for either the Walking Dead panel, or it was the
something like that.
Or like I think the Sabrina the Teenage Witch panel, one of those ones where we have instant access to information, like instantly, basically at this point. And so, guys, like you have to know your battles. And the one thing I think we forgot to add in is definitely do your research. Do your research before you're even looking into possibly even before you hit that button for submission of wanting to buy a ticket. Know who's coming. Know what you want to do. Know where you're willing to spend your money and where you're willing to spend your time in. I know that's the overarching theme we've been going on this episode, but definitely do research. They Comic-Con, WonderCon specifically, they do a great thing of like they put out a constant like weeks in advance or like months in advance before the actual convention. They put on like a certain week list, like, hey, we got these people coming out. And we got Donnie Cates coming out this week. Next week, all right. Here's next list of guests. We have Jim Lee. We have Joel Jones. We have We have all A, B, C, and D. You have da 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 da, right? And so definitely know the reachers, the information is out there on the website. Just know, if it's a good point of contention for you personally. It's like, all right, cool. This is definitely something I want to get into, right? And let's say you don't get to Hall H, and that was the big thing. Well, if you did research, well, I like this artist and this artist and this author and this author, so I might go see them. And so it's always good to plan this stuff out. So you're, well, go ahead, dude. I
Oh
know
no,
you're
I
gonna.
was just say we could definitely chase more rabbits all day long about about the do's and don'ts. And again, we'll probably do a little bit more as we get some more questions that come in next week. But I do want to give JR an opportunity to let his hair down and get something off his chest. This is going to be we were bringing back. This is a heavily requested segment that we haven't done in a couple of weeks, and this is the JR soapbox. This is where he gets on a soapbox and goes, "This is what grinds my gears." And we have got a doozy, and I think a lot of people out there are going to agree on this. Go figure, JR.
Okay.
Rob Liefeld has found a way to piss off JR, so the floor is yours. Here is JR's soapbox. What is grinding your gears this week?
Okay, it was a small tangent. I thought before when you're still going on, when we're still going on do's and don'ts, I thought you're talking about con pricing, which we'll talk about next week.
We gotta talk about that next week, yeah, dude.
Okay, so for those who don't know, Rob Liefeld was asked to do was doing an interview with IGN. IGN is a game website, and they on YouTube as well. And the dude, he was asked a totally opposite question of something else that had to do with Deadpool and had to do with like just what he's been doing in his life, right? Post comic book writing or whatever. Yeah. The dude goes off. He goes off on Marvel and Kevin Feige. He goes off on Marvel and Kevin Feige about Deadpool not being used correctly by Disney and all that stuff, disregarding the fact that they literally just bought them earlier this year. Right? Okay, so Rob Liefeld goes off. I will link Kevin the full video later on, man. But he just goes on this stupid, idiotic rants about like, oh, Marvel and Kevin Feige, they're just twiddling their thumbs. They're talking literally about Deadpool, the video game that happened 15 years ago. That's the anniversary for it. And he's like, yeah, right. Rob goes off and just like, I can't believe they're not doing anything with this character. I don't care about another movie, man. I just want Deadpool to be out there and I want everybody to see my work and all this. Like, dude, in my mind, I'm like, dude, the reason why you are forgive me for our language, but the reason why you're bitching is because you're not getting your annual checks again from Warner Brothers, bro.
Yeah, pretty much.
Let's get this straight. You're not getting your money from Warner Brothers, and it's been like what, less than 6 months since you got your last one, because Marvel bought out Warner Brothers, and they're gonna instill everything from that to them. And there's just one quote he said, like that Marvel and Kevin Feige and the CEO of Marvel just wasted billions of dollars on absolutely nothing, and they're waiting on these characters. Like, bro, your guy isn't $1 billion franchise. Stop it. The reason why Disney bought this because overseas, their overseas links from Warner Brothers are the ones they really wanted. So if you put more Disney crap to like Europe and all that stuff, right? That's the main reason why, not because of Deadpool. Let's get this straight. They didn't buy it because of Deadpool, and the only reason why you're bitching is because you're not getting your paycheck for a character that you have basically no control over. You only just drew the guy, and that drawing isn't even used properly today. And the character that we know as Deadpool is so far from who you originally envisioned. It is hilarious to me. It is from I wrote this down a while ago actually, because I ranted so freaking hard on this. Like Fabian Azia, Gary Duggan, Scotty Young, and even freaking Mark Waid had more levity and had more of an actual impact on Deadpool the character than Rob Liefeld ever has. And I'm being super critical, Rob. I'm just added vision again, but like I'm being super critical, Rob, because it fits his. It's hilarious to me to see such a quote unquote legend in the game act like such a freaking dick. And
No,
and
he has a reputation of doing that.
and I know y'all have I've hinted out in prior episodes before about my dealings with Rob Liefeld, but he definitely is like this. He blows himself up to be this guy where he feels like he changed the world, when honestly the only relevant things he has done in his career is one, create Deadpool or draw Deadpool, Cable, and I forget her name, and her other character, and the other
Domino.
character, and Domino, right? And then possibly right on the coattails of Image after he just left. and the amount of ego on this man after one being invited to not just Infinity War but also freaking also Endgame, being paid a bunch of other crap, being paid by Marvel right now for his horrible design elements. His drawing style has not changed in the last 20 freaking years.
Still can't draw feet.
The only relevant thing, or the only like um not inspirational, but the only like I guess genre defying thing that he has done in any of his art styles was put more pouches on a character. Dude, if like he draws every character the exact same way ever. His female characters look like every single female character he has done since the entirety of since he was like 20. He has, and it's hilarious to me because this is the same guy that like was basically in the golden age, or the golden age of like amazing artists that basically started Image, right? He's supposed to be in that Jim Lee field. He's supposed to be in that who else I'm looking about? He's supposed to be in Tom McFarlane field. He's supposed to be in this field, and it's funny to me that how every artist basically just define and refine their craft, and this guy is still banking on like on old shit that has basically surpassed him. He's that guy in that high school project, right? That comes in late game and boast about, oh, I did everything, when all he did was basically make a really bad outline that people didn't use. That's all it is.
What he reminds me of is and it was funny, was a reason where I got this from was when I met Fabian at Revolution, and he had some good and not so good things to say about Liefeld. And Fabian was very much there capitalizing on Deadpool. Mm-hmm. And he goes, that's fine. I was invited to Revolution to do such a thing. He did the screening for Deadpool 2. Mm-hmm. But someone in line and asked Fabian this when he got to the front was, do you think that Rob Liefeld is to Deadpool as Al Bundy, the character from Married with Children, is to Polk High Football? And he goes, wow, I've never heard it put that way. Absolutely. Now, for those who don't get the reference, Al Bundy, this 40-year-old character from from Married with Children back in the 80s, relished, like a lot of former high school stars do, and I scored the winning touchdown in the big game at Polk High my senior year, blah, blah, blah. So he's banking on something he did 30 years ago. And there's nothing wrong with that in the comic book industry. I mean, look at Stan Lee. He was, up to the day he died, was signing books from the X-Men, Amazing Spider-Man, blah, blah, blah. He was in these movies. But he was also creating new stuff and was creating awareness for the industry. He did a lot for making comic books mainstream. Yeah. Rob, he did a lot of things. I mean, he created some books back in the 90s. He did a great job. I'm going to give him credit. I'm going to give him some credit. Yeah, he created some cool characters, and he brought some stuff to the mainstream, and he was but the problem is to this day, yes, he does still try to attempt to to bring new stuff. Like he's doing Snake Eyes for GI Joe and whatnot, and not
Oh,
very
oh,
well.
oh, you mean Silent Deadpool?
Yeah, but
In well, don't get me wrong. Snake Eyes, great character by himself, but then when Rob does it, Silent Deadpool.
Deadpool. The problem with Rob is he, just like Al Bundy, the character, tries to ride the coattails, and only those coattails, some 20, 30, 40 years later,
Yeah.
or 30 years later, of Deadpool. And again, there's nothing wrong with it because he created the character. And the only gripe I have with him, or the only thing I kind of side with him on, is him and Fabian. And we'll kind of move on after this, because I'm sure we could bash on Rob Liefeld all day long. I've met Rob, and he was a jerk.
I met him 3-4 times, man.
Fabian brought up an idea because I was wearing a Gwenpool shirt, and he goes, and I asked him what he thought of the character, and he goes, you know what? Side note, I like the character. I think it's kind of cool. But on the flip side is we got effed on rights fees. Marvel did kind of screw him on that, because they have a deal, and I looked at it, and I remember I talked to Chris Claremont, who, again, one of those creators who got screwed on movies and TV rights, but Claremont had the clairvoyancy, pun intended, to see that the X-Men was very marketable, and got in on that, and he got rights fees. Fabian and Rob did the same thing with Gwenpool. They got in on, or I'm sorry, with Deadpool, got in on the rights. They got that check you mentioned from Fox, but they also have, and I don't know where the statute of limitations ended with them. They got a piece of the pie from Marvel Entertainment on the rights to Deadpool and any amalgamation that was created thereafter. And they have a fight against Marvel that Gwenpool, who Marvel tries to say, no, it's her own. She's her own character.
Yeah.
No, bro.
It's basically Deadpool, but yeah.
Gwenpool's first appearance was on the cover of Deadpool Secret Wars #1 back in 2015.
Yeah.
And it was meant to be an amalgamation, meant to be a mixture of Gwen Stacy and Deadpool, much like Spider-Gwen is. I mean, it came on the heels of the success that the people have said. They created Gwenpool on the heels of the success of Spider-Gwen, and Spider-Gwen was created as a kind of like a what if Gwen Stacy was bit by the radioactive spider. But yeah, it was very much an amalgamation. Obviously, Gwendolyn Poole has become her own character, and that's why they separated the names. That's why her real name is Gwendolyn Poole, and her alter ego is Gwenpool. But no, it very much is, and I know they have an argument on that, but at the same time, it's just like, bro, just move on. So
it's here's the thing, like, to just kind of harping back on Liefeld. You want to talk about ego as well? Remember that time where he was trying to charge Stan Lee prices for a signature?
Yeah.
And for those who don't know, Stan Lee, one of the greatest fucking men for the comic book realm to ever fucking live. Let's get that right. And again, apologize for the language, man. But like, Stan Lee at the time, his team, right? We get into a whole different thing about that. His team,
we'll get into that.
Yeah, was charging $100 per signature for Stan Lee, right? His team, not Stan himself. Stan was well into his 80s, right?
Yeah.
And so, and I think before he passed away, I think it was like 125, 150, right, per signature. Yeah. And so, but like in that same time frame, guess how much Rob was charging? $100. He was trying to charge $100, or like somewhere in that price range, man. It was stupid money. Like when he came down to Comic-Con Palm Springs, right? J. Scott Campbell, awesome freaking guy, was there. He was like, first one was free, and then after that it was, I think, like $25, $50 or something like that.
Yeah,
right?
It's like $15-$20. Yeah.
And then was it day one? I think day one was for Rob was like $50. Day two jumped to $75. I wonder why.
Yeah, because people weren't paying for it.
And because there was a guy named Stan freaking Lee. Like, dude, it was insane. It was I can go on about Rob, but like he's very much that old dude that is trying to relive his high school, football days. Definitely, man. And it sucks because like it sucks because we got guys, man, like freaking Joe Kelly, who is the main reason. Who, of course, Joe Kelly did Volume 2 of Deadpool, is the main reason, or it's Volume 1 or Volume 2, the main reason why we know Deadpool as is today. Like it wasn't like freaking I'm getting so worked up now. I'm forgetting names. Who's the guy that plays Deadpool?
Ryan
Ryan
Reynolds.
Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds' character, right? Even though he's been that character the entire his life since all his movies, right? He fits that character so well because of Gary Durgans, because of Joe Kelly, because of all these guys that created Deadpool this way. This Deadpool wasn't the original iteration of Rob Liefeld. So far from it. Not even Cable from back then was the iteration that freaking Rob Liefeld thought of.
Yeah.
Let's get that straight, dude. And so this dude is ranting and raving about Marvel stuff when like because he's not getting paid, dude. That's it, bro. Just own up to it, man. And I can rant more, man, but please continue. Just go before I just go
Before
off.
you lose it.
Before I lose it even more.
It is that time of the show where we get to the end, and it is time, as JR likes to put it, the flex pool.
Flex pool, go ahead, dude. I'm gonna just yell off screen, so I'm just gonna just.
It is time for the flex pool, where we show off what we got from our pool list or mail call. Real quick thing. Hopefully by this time next week, I will have a mail call for you to go along with our retail section of San Diego Comic-Con at home. Big shout outs to Aspen Comics. If you want to, go over to YouTube, go to the Comic-Con channel, check out that. Have it about 12:30 this afternoon.
Super good
on
guys.
Saturday for those of you watching later on.
And girls.
So, yeah. So, anyways, I do have big shout out. I have a ton of Aspen books coming sometime next week, including the Lola issue that was being released this week at would have been released at San Diego Comic-Con, but instead the SDCC at home version. So that is coming out. Plus, I have got the first appearance of Lola in comic book form. Lola XOXO Volume 1, Issue 1, first print, cover A, the whole 9 yards. A huge book, in my opinion. Huge book in Sia Om's career. Those are on their way. They should be here hopefully by next week to do a little hashtag mail call. But I got a little flex pool for you this week, starting things off. Now, if you didn't pick it up, the brand new run of Power Rangers is now out from Boom Studios.
Right.
Boom Studios killing it. Ryan Parrott, Dan Mora, and Raul Angulo on the work for Ranger Slayer #1. Here is the bag, polybag and boarded issue #1, the spoiler variant. So again, if you don't want to know any other information about Ranger Slayer, if you haven't already read it, yes, I am probably going to spoil something for you. So again, turn the other way, because I have opened the other polybag that I bought, and this is what the cover looks like. The cover is done by the legendary, the amazing, the charismatic, the wonderful person to deal with at a Comic-Con. I've met her twice. Super chill. Gotten a couple books signed. Miss Jen Bartel. This is the cover done by Miss Jen. The colors are insane. This Aurora Borealis, kind of this Northern Lights kind of cover is amazing. The pink is just killer. The big bow staff is amazing. Just a great job. This, of course, is meant to be this character. We saw her in the Free Comic Book Day #0 of Power Rangers Ranger Slayer. That is what you saw right there. So that is the Jen Bartel spoiler variant. Check it out. Ryan Parrott, by the way, a little shout out for Ryan. Here's a guy who's been a huge writer, and I think he also did some artwork for Power Rangers back in the back last year. A little shout out, because again, in this day and age, all of our local comic book stores need some love.
Yeah, definitely, man.
let me find this real quick on my CLZ app. Want to send a shout out to a store in Temecula.
I was about to say, man, you got any more superlatives for Jen?
What's up?
You got any more superlatives for Jen?
Right?
Amazing. Hey, she deserves. Don't get me wrong. She deserves all of them, man. I'm like, yo, keep on going, homie.
This is the Amelia Vidal cover. It's a SoCal Games and Comics in Temecula retail variant. Was only I think they only did like about 500 of these comics. Let me show you this cover real quick. This is really cool that a store like this got to do a retail variant. This is what it looks like. Again, Ryan Parrott. So this is the artist did this. The aforementioned artist was Amelia Vidal. And so you can see right there, there's the actual store logo, SoCal Games and Comics in Temecula. This is what the cover, the other cover was supposed to be. So it's that issue for those of you who know. But Ryan Parrott did a signing at SoCal Games and Comics. Super cool. I did not get my book signed. I want to give a shout out though to general manager of SoCal Games and Comics, Rachel, who has, by the way, hosted a panel at San Diego Comic-Con and a panel at WonderCon about women in comics. Amazing woman. She does a great job, and she is working on getting Ryan to sign that book for me. But again, shows some support. Great writer. Also, real quick, I did pick up this one, and I'm reading slowly but surely the new Marvel Incoming, actually, which came out last December. It's kind of a bridge book between the old Champions and the new Champions book that JR talked about a couple of weeks ago. That's supposed to come out last week. It's supposed to come out this fall. And also Black Label, DC Black Label, just doing some killer things right here. This is Joker, Harley, Criminal Sanity, Secret Files. I believe this is a one-off, or is this issue number 4?
Which one is it?
This is the David Mack cover.
Oh,
sweet to see David Mack do a DC Black Label cover, full magazine style. The one of these days Eisner Award winner.
He's going to be, dude.
This is this is a one-off, I believe.
Yeah.
This I think is a spin-off of the Harley and Joker Criminal Insanity Secret Files. I think this is like I said, a
spin-off show, something like that. Yeah.
So one shot.
Yeah. Let's go.
So great book. Can't wait to see David at San Diego Comic-Con in 2021. Get him to sign that book. Again, can't say enough about how great David is as an artist.
Yeah.
So that's my hashtag pull list. We'll have some more, obviously, next week with Wednesday, New Comic Book Day.
Yeah.
And of course, I should have some
a whole bunch
mail
of
call.
stuff.
Got some mail call. I've got stuff coming in from. I'm super stoked, but I found out I'm not getting it until November. Is Marvel without their Marvel booth this year? A lot of people had early access to their collector pins. For those who don't know, Marvel does a 4-pack, typically 4 to 5 pin pack of exclusive San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. Oh my gosh, completely drew a blank on his name. The guy that does like the silly kind of like kiddie cartoon version of Marvel characters. He also did Deadpool. Scotty Young.
Yeah.
Scotty Young does these little enamel pins.
Who's also another great freaking guy, dude. Another great
super chill.
Super freaking chill, man. Awesome.
I've told my a story about him, Scotty Young, from a couple episodes ago back in the archives on YouTube. They come out usually about a 4 or 5 pack, sell out in mere minutes, and I will show off the pins that they have available. It was only 2,500 full collection sets of, I think it was 12 to 15 pins available this year for $200, including 2 limited edition Scotty Young variants. I did not go that route. I bought 3 blind boxes. However, found out that these are not shipping until November. So we will have to wait till around Christmas time for me to do the old mail call. However, I do
Uh-huh.
have some cool merchandise coming my way from San Diego Comic-Con. It should be here in the next couple of weeks. I also have the stuff from Aspen. And also, JR sent me a link to a statue that is available from Sideshow, $270 PVC statue of Gwenpool. Really cool looking statue. Our friend Sarah did purchase it, so we'll have a chance hopefully to see that in the wild
Oh,
in
she
a
did?
couple of weeks. She did buy it. I sent her the link and she bought it
Oh,
instantaneously.
of course she did. Of course
And
she
it's
did, man.
Gwenpool, and like I said, literally the only Gwenpool statue I have is the small little statue I showed you earlier of the Scotty Young.
Mm,
It's only probably about this tall, probably about 4 or 5 inches tall, of her doing the drinking the Slurpee,
yeah,
which is a cool statue
yeah.
from
I
her.
think
So.
yeah, you got that from what's called too. Yeah, you got that from Comic Salon.
No, you know where I got that was super lucky. Got
Really?
it for like
Okay.
45, $50, new in box
Nice.
on Amazon. Got
Nice.
super lucky.
Whoa,
Um,
40? Okay.
yeah. And
Okay.
those retail for about 60 to $100, but this person was just unloading them, and it's
Oh,
legit. It still has the certificate of authenticity. Came in the same box,
mhm.
numbered
Numeric.
and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the whole 9 yards. It was super legit. I even had Chick and Javelle check it out. It was legit. Just guy was just unloading a bunch of them.
Cool.
Yeah, so I'm hemming and hawing about to buy that Sideshow. But what did get announced this week as well was a Catwoman in the
Oh yeah.
bridal
Bridal gown.
dress, bridal
Mm,
gown.
Batman 50.
Again, the amazing Jolie Jones inspired cover
Yeah.
and sculpt, kind of did the inspiration for the sculpture. That also came out. I have Chick working on getting me that, hopefully at a little bit better rate than what they got on Sideshow's website, but still not bad for about $140, I think.
I mean,
Um,
yeah.
so really beautiful. That I'm thinking about getting that statue. I love Jolie Jones's work. I always will pick up her Catwoman cover along with Art Germ or Josh Middleton or whoever does a variant for Catwoman that week. So you got a
Mhm.
flex pool this week, or
Uh, yes, yeah, but it's not that much. I mean, I funny enough. Here's the thing about Comic Salon. For those who don't know, in Comic Salon, I have right in our pull list, right? There's a regular pull list, and then there's people like me that has a box.
yeah, it's true.
Well, it's not more so a box, more so a basket, right? And so like it's just basically just like I've been notoriously been one of those people that I let my stuff add up and then I buy it all right there, right? So I would
Yeah,
miss like maybe a week or two of pulls, right? And then I just buy it the next third week with the pulls of that week too. So that's what I constantly do. And so this week I found out like I emptied my basket this week, but there's still a pull list for me in the regular pull bin, right? So I didn't know about that stuff. So that tripped me out. I'm like, oh, where did all this stuff come from? I'm like, oh, I thought this was my basket. Like, no, this is from your pull list. Like, all right, cool. So I bought that. And first one up is last year's Eisner winner, Monstrous. Monstrous
nice.
29. I think the Monstrous was this one, if I remember correctly, Sana Takeda and Marjorie Liu. They won ongoing series last year, if I remember correctly, as well as art too. And this is a great freaking series to get into.
Yeah,
I also bought this. Tripped me out because this is a book that's going super hot right now. This was in my pool. Thor. This is like my
yeah.
fifth copy. Thor 5. I got it for cover price. Thank you, Chick and Javelle. And then I guess my biggest get for the week is Win number 2 by Peach Momoko.
Very nice.
Yeah, it's the one for
Always
25 variant. And then this is the regular one. It's gonna probably go up. It's like on sale right now for like $40-$45 on eBay. So I got for like $25-$30 or something like that. So cool. Big ups to those guys. I got a bunch of other stuff coming in, man, but like I'm just gonna say that for another day.
sounds good.
But yeah, I know there's also a small little tidbit, which I'll probably add on to next week. Another thing came out this week that actually has nothing to do with comic books, more so in gaming. The Xbox Live event came out, or the Xbox
Yes.
or Microsoft Xbox Next Gen whatever came out this week. The event of that came out yesterday, I think, or 2 days ago.
Yeah, I think it was like Wednesday or Thursday. Yeah.
Yeah, it was, like it wasn't for me. just small opinion. Like, I'll just give my small little thing for it. I understand that they are talking to an audience that I'm not a part of. Period.
Yeah.
Right. I'm definitely in that whole like full on hardcore gaming aspect. I care about first parties. I care about like story driven stuff, and like if it's next gen, I want to look next gen. They had some stuff that was interesting, but nothing to really pull me there. I'll get more into depth of it some other time,
Yeah,
hopefully.
we'll probably do another gaming episode
Yeah, but
probably
yeah,
in the coming weeks.
yeah. But then just overall, uh, it they're talking to a crowd that they know their crowd, they know their audience, and that's great for them. That's awesome for them. I just know for me, I'm not part of that crowd, and
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. They're okay with that too, and so I wholeheartedly go with like they made like CDK2 and so much other stuff, right? But I would love to see more gameplay than CG trailers. But hey, man, cool. You know, they showed Halo. They showed
Halo
like
Infinite looked pretty good. They did some gameplay for that. I think the
they did some other stuff too. Like they did what was the game? It had some interesting games. Interesting games.
obviously
And
in the big like
yeah,
we've got one more thing was Fable.
Fable. Yeah,
The new Fable. So that
yeah.
looks like it could be pretty cool. But yeah, it was kind of ho hum.
I
But
I, I would have loved to see gameplay. That's the
yeah.
biggest thing.
And
I
they
would have
did
loved to see
show, and
gameplay.
again, the only thing they showed gameplay of, but it was like the first
They showed like a total of
3 minutes
3. Yeah.
of Halo. It does look a lot better. But I just think that the problem with Halo, and we'll kind of end on this, and because we can do a whole episode, is that
Yeah.
I think the people that played Halo, it's few and far between, because at the time it was probably the best first person shooter out there.
Mm.
No one wants to play a battle royale. No one wants to play a team versus team or PvP in Halo anymore. They want modern warfare. They want Call of Duty. They want blood and guts.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
just don't think
Yeah.
Halo is going to offer them that. But gameplay was pretty
Looks
cool of what
good.
they
It looks good.
revealed.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I mean, they know their audience. That's the biggest thing. They know their audience and they know what they're getting into. And I can't hate them. I can't muck them on that, man. Like if they put out Halo, it's for a reason. And they Halo will have its own audience, and that's cool, man. That's fine. Sony does these weird things where they put out certain games for a specific audience. One being Death Stranding.
yeah.
I love Death Stranding, but it's basically a walking simulator. I love it. I love it to death. But you're just literally just you're a glorified package, man. But it works. It works.
It works for somebody.
It works for people. I get that. You must know your audience. But other than that, guys, you have any parting thoughts there, Kev?
No, I just think another great job. As always, thank you to JR for formatting the show, trying to keep us on track.
Yeah.
And again, we will hopefully be back for Wrath of the Con Part 3 next week, where we will wrap things up, put a pretty little bow on the total likes and dislikes from San Diego Comic-Con at home, and any new information that we have about from Marvel or from Warner Brothers fandom, which is next month. And of course, we will get, I think, more into
Do's and don'ts.
the do's and don'ts on going for exclusives, and also talk a little bit about the retail side of what went on with San Diego Comic-Con at home, because a lot of people did just basically Black Friday version of Comic-Con on the website, and we will definitely have probably a little bitch fest about Funko next week. So
yeah.
anyways,
as well as definitely about con pricing.
yes,
Convention pricing. We'll do that.
yeah,
But
I wanted to get into that a little bit about, and it'll tie into what we talked about a couple of months ago with going to cons on a Sunday, do's and don'ts on when to ask for a deal and stuff like that. But we'll get into that next week. Again, he is the Dark King, J.R. Kabakungan,
and
you can
he
find
is
him, Kevin Pillow.
yeah.
Go ahead.
You can find me at also not Jared Comics 42 on Instagram. I'm still working on other stuff, guys. Sorry about that. And you can also find him
at Voice of Reason 23. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and of course, if you search out Voice of Reason 23 or locate me on Facebook, you'll find a little picture of me kind of like my little Barack Obama pose where I'm looking off to the side with the microphone. You can find me there. And yes, I did compare myself to number 44.
Really.
But anyways, thanks as always. Thanks for putting up with us for a couple of hours talking about Comic Cons, and we will see you next week. By the way, happy Go Fest for all you Pokemon fans out there. Enjoy your week. See you guys.
I wonder if those $15